Hey guys, welcome to Household Equivalents. When I have mentioned to you guys that we are going to look at conversions in this section, when I'm talking about conversions, I am referencing measurement conversions, and that's what we are looking at here on the screen. So depending on who's watching this video, so my algebra class, when you guys watch this video, you guys are seeing this that I have given to you all. I've given you guys this as a sheet that you'll eventually have to memorize. As this is something, especially for any of my nurses who are watching this video, whether you're an RN or an LPN, even if you're an online student, yes, on quizzes, you guys will have this in front of you, so you can always reference that for those online students. But for even those on-campus students, but even online students, you'll want to memorize this because this, as a nurse, you will eventually need to know these. I promise you these will come up pretty often. For my on-ground students, for my on-campus people, you all will be able to use this on your first quiz. So don't stress about the fact that it says need to memorize. That is something that I will want you guys to have memorized by the time that it comes to the final exam for sure. So just keep that in mind, that on next week's quiz, for my algebra students who are listening to this right now, you guys will be able to use this sheet next week on your quiz, so don't stress about that. But these equivalents are provided to us to tell us what we know already. We know that 1 teaspoon is the same thing as 5 milliliters. So that way, if I ever said that a patient needs 6 teaspoons, gosh, that's a 6, horrible 6, needs 6 teaspoons of medication, I want to know what that would be in milliliters. Well, if every 1 milliliter contains, for every 1 teaspoon, I'm not thinking straight today, guys. For every 1 teaspoon that contains 5 milliliters, well, if I have 6 of those, then therefore I must have 6 times the amount of milliliters. 6 of these means 6 times the amount of milliliters then. So therefore this would be 6 times 5, which would be the same thing as 30 milliliters. So that's what we're going to look at in these types of conversions. Very, very, very similar to maybe something we're already pretty familiar with. If I said, this is not on your all's equivalents right here, but any type of conversion, as long as I know something about it, I should be able to calculate that. So for instance, if I asked you guys 4 hours, would be what in terms of minutes? Well, we know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. So 1 hour, that's 60 minutes. 2 hours would be twice that, so that would be 120 minutes. 3 hours would be 3 times that, whereas 4 hours would be 4 times that amount. So 4 times 60 would give us a total of 240 minutes. So that's what we're looking at here, is just taking what I know, and that's what we're going to use this sheet for, is looking at this as what I know and trying to solve for something that I don't know. So what's really easy about these types of conversions, now some of my classes you guys have used what's called proportions, and in proportions you guys use 2 fractions that you set equal to one another, and we call those known versus unknown. What I mean by that, for those of you guys who use the size method, I'm going to get to that in a second, but for those of you guys that are using the proportion method, what that method does is it takes, a known and it sets it equal to an unknown. And we would simply just say that, if my question is saying, I have, let's just say this, I have 3, let's say, pounds, and I want to know what that is in ounces. So what I'd have to do is look at my sheet here to see that, that 1 pound is equivalent to 16 ounces. So we can look at that as a known to say, 1 pound is 16 ounces, and I set that equal to 3 pounds is X amount of ounces. And those proportion guys, what you all do to solve that is you multiply the side that's opposite of where X is, 16 times 3, and then take that and divide by 1 to say that would be 48 ounces. Now, there's a much easier method for that. So I went through that fairly quickly just because there's a different way to remember that. So if this question again, just saying the same question again, which I already forgot what it was. 3 pounds is equal to how many ounces? So yes, we're still using this. What I typically tend to think of is the fact that I'm going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. That's kind of an easier way to remember it. That in this case, I know this. I know that 1 pound is the same thing as 16 ounces. So like in that first example, well, if I have 3 times the amount of pounds, then therefore I'll have 3 times the amount of ounces. So that would again just be 3 times 16. So you may be thinking of it from a logical standpoint, and that totally works. But not always will we multiply by that known. Sometimes we'll actually end up dividing by the known. So a way to think about that would be this, that anytime you are going from the larger unit to the smaller unit, we will always multiply by that equivalent. So multiply, and I'm going to call it by the known, but that's the same thing. I just don't want to write out the word equivalent because I'm lazy. But that's what we would do, is we'd multiply that. So in this case, that's what we were doing. We're going from the larger unit to the smaller unit. How do I know that that's the larger unit and which one's the smaller and so on? Based on that known, the fact that 1 pound is the same thing as 16 ounces. Well, then ounces must be pretty small if 16 of them fit into that 1 pound. Same thing with hours and minutes. Minutes must be pretty small if 60 of them are equivalent to 1 hour. So hours would be bigger in that case. So here in this case, pounds are bigger than ounces. So that's why we measure people in pounds, because body weight, typically that would be a larger number. If I said I wanted to know what that person weighs who weighs, say, 150 pounds, what they weigh in ounces, that would be quite a big number because ounces are so much smaller. So that's what I mean by that. That, and a way to think about that too is whichever one, when you're looking at this known, whichever one is the one, because you notice that all of them, according to this equivalent sheet, all of them, on that left-hand side have a 1. Whichever one is your 1, that's your larger unit. That's going to be your larger unit. So anytime I'm going from the larger unit to the smaller unit, I will always multiply by that known. Opposite when I'm going from the smaller to the larger. Let's say using that exact same known. So I'm still talking about the pounds and ounces here. But let's say, using that known, I want to know now, let's say I know that somebody is, let's say 65 ounces. This is going to come out to be a decimal. But I know that there's 65 ounces. Not person, this is going to be too small. But I know that something weighs 65 ounces. I want to know what that is in pounds. So in this case, again, keeping that in mind, that 1 pound is equal to, here's my known, is equal to 16 ounces. Like I said, whichever one is the 1 is your larger unit of the two, of pounds and ounces. So therefore, again, always, in this circumstance, comparing pounds and ounces are always smaller than pounds. So because the question is asking me to go from ounces to pounds, I am therefore going from the smaller unit to the larger unit. And so opposite here, anytime I'm going from smaller to larger, then I'm just going to do the opposite. Instead, I'm going to end up dividing by that known. So in this particular question, I'm going to end up taking 65 divided by 16 to get my answer. So 65 divided by 16 is 4.0625. We could just round that and say that's about 4.1 pounds. And that's how we would get that answer. So every single time, as long as you know that makes it a little bit easier. So if the first thing that I drew up here today, that proportion thing, if that was just completely crazy to you, then ignore it. But if you like that proportion method, stick with that. I do have a separate video on the proportions to introduce the proportions a little bit better. But honestly, for these, as long as you know that, as long as you know that if I'm going from the larger unit to the smaller, I will always multiply. If I'm going from the smaller to the larger, we will always divide. So just taking a look at a couple more practice questions. So let's say I have 4.5 cups, and I want to know what that is in ounces. This time I'm going from cups to ounces. Taking a look at, again, looking at that left-hand column here, I know I'm looking for one of those down here. When I find cups, you find ounces, but this just says ounces to milliliters right here. So that's not what I'm trying to convert. I'm trying to convert ounces in cups. So I keep going down that left-hand column, and here's cups. It tells me that 1 cup is equal to 240 milliliters, which is what I would use if I'm converting cups and milliliters. But since I'm converting cups and ounces, I'm going to go over a little bit further, and it says that 1 cup is equal to 8 ounces. So there's my known that I'm going to use in this question, because this is, using the same 2 units, cups and ounces, and there they are, cups and ounces. So since 1 cup is equivalent to 8 ounces, therefore cups are my larger unit. Because again, ounces must be pretty small if 8 of them fit into that 1 cup. So here's a measuring cup that we have in our kitchen. 8 ounces fit into that 1 cup. So therefore ounces are smaller. In my question, I am asking to convert from that larger unit of cups to the smaller unit of ounces. And again, every time we go from larger to smaller, we're always going to multiply by the known. So in this question, I will simply just take 4.5 times 8, and I will get 36 as my answer. That would be 36 ounces. Every single time we can do this. And you may be able to look at that and just say, well, again, 1 cup is 8 ounces. Well, so therefore, if I have 4.5 times the amount of cups, I'm going to have 4.5 times 8 to get the ounces. And if you look at it that way, that is perfect. That is exactly how you would do that. Great. But let's say, hold on, going all over the place on this. Let's get rid of that. No. All right. Oh, sorry. I meant to remove the question. Here we go. Okay. So looking at another one, let's say we have, how about a patient who is 150 pounds, and I want to know what they weigh in kilograms. So looking for our known for pounds and kilograms. Again, looking down that left-hand column, I don't see any pounds or kilograms. There's pound, but it says 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. I'm not converting pounds and ounces here. I'm converting pounds and kilograms. So when I keep going, I see kilogram, and that's equal to 2.2 pounds. So therefore, based on that information, again, whichever one is the 1 is your larger unit. Kilograms are larger here. So because kilograms are larger than pounds, in this question, I'm going from the smaller unit of pounds to the larger unit of kilograms. So because I'm going from smaller to larger, I'm going to divide, and I'm going to divide by that 2.2. So this would just be 150 divided by 2.2. And that would give me 68.18 repeating, so we could just call that 68.2. I am not at all particular on how you guys round these. When you guys start getting into your, for you nurses, when you start getting into your nursing classes, your nursing instructors will talk a little bit more about how to round. And even as we get deeper into the class, when we get into dosage calculations, we'll talk about how to round and the best ways to round. But right now, I am mostly concerned with just making sure you're doing the calculation correctly. So if on a test, if you said that was 68.18, that would be totally fine too. Even if you didn't round correctly and you called that 68.1, or if you just rounded it to the nearest whole number and called it 68. All of these are correct answers. I'm just, again, making sure you're doing the conversion. So as long as you get that in that general vicinity of 68, I know you did it right. So you don't need to worry about it. So rounding is totally up to you when you get these decimal type answers. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say we have, how about 6 tablespoons, and I want to know what that is in milliliters. So again, my known for tablespoons and milliliters, we've got that right up here. Not tablespoons and teaspoons underneath. Tablespoons and milliliters is this 1 to 15. So again, of the 2, tablespoons must be larger since 15 of those milliliters fit into that 1 tablespoon. So therefore, tablespoons are bigger than milliliters. In this question, it's going from tablespoons to milliliters, so therefore this is a larger to smaller. So we would simply just take 6 times 15 in this question, and that means 6 tablespoons is 90 milliliters. Okay, hope you guys are feeling okay with these. Okay, so let's see. How about, taking a look at another one. How about we have, how about we have 1,000, let's say, milliliters, and I want to know what that is in pints. I'm just going to use the abbreviation there because I'm cutting short there. So milliliters to pint. So I look up in my chart and I see the 1 pint. It says it's equal to 2 cups, so that's what I would use if I was converting pints and cups. 1 pint is equal to 480 milliliters, so I would use that. That right there, 1 pint is 480 milliliters, since that's what I'm converting here, milliliters and pints. So of the 2, pints are going to be larger than milliliters, so therefore I'm going from the smaller unit of milliliters to the larger unit of pints. So that is going to be a smaller to larger question here, and therefore we will divide. So I'll take 1,000 divided by my known of 480. So 1,000 divided by 480 is about 2.083333 repeating, and I'm just in a habit of rounding to the tenths place, so 1 place after the decimal, so I can just call that 2.1, and that would be fine. If you gave me 2.08, 2.083, or even if you just rounded it to 2, that would be totally fine. No worries on that. So that is a short and sweet introduction into our household conversions. Like I said, I'll also send you guys the video on the proportions method. For those of you guys who like to use that for our equivalents, it works the exact same way. This was just a different method to use, and I've always thought that this one's kind of easier because it doesn't involve any type of setup. You just kind of have to get in that habit of remembering which one's larger and which one's smaller. All right, guys, so I hope that helps with our household conversions. Again, attaching the video for the proportions. If you guys have any questions at all, let me know.